Yeah.
Good, good morning. This is Commissioner Lasher, and we have Commissioner Niles here, who are on the uh, Initiative and Referendum Subcommittee. And today we're going to discuss we're getting close to the finalizing this draft of our proposal. And I know that there was um, Commissioner Niles had commented that she would like to see additional percentage rate to show on the chart that we would be presenting to the group. Um, and that's probably what we'll be presenting because of further discussion she'd like to have on the mini initiative. And are you okay?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. And so I'm open to whatever number that you would like to see on that chart. We have the proposed change at 8%. It's currently 10% right now. Um, would you like to offer a suggestion of, you mentioned 5% or 6%, but if I could just have one number to put in there, because I don't have a lot of room to put additional numbers. So, I mean, I can put 5% if you want, or to see the difference in signatures required and signatures per day that a person would have to collect, uh, or I could do 6%. Uh,
Okay.
what would you
Okay.
prefer?
Well, when I'm looking at it, it says the 10% is the 226, and then 9 is 204, 8
Uh-huh.
is 181. If you could, put, I think 6% to just show the difference
Okay.
with the totals, because then that'll show. I think that the whole point of it is to show commissioners that when you're looking at percentages, it's completely different when you're comparing percentages in counties on their ability of citizens to bring an initiative forward, right? So San Juan at 15, easy. And then I also was wondering if you could somehow include the information for commissioners at the meeting when we put this proposal forward. I know that we got some information from the MRSC on how many initiatives brought forward using this process, and what counties that happened in, because I believe that was only San Juan that was able to do that, was able to get a citizens initiative on the ballot. And I think that that's a significant piece of information for them to understand, is that though San Juan has 15%, they have such a smaller population, they were able to collect enough
Mhm.
signatures to do that. So I know that it's been compared in the past at commission meetings. They commissioners have just looked at the percentage and said, "Oh, look, we're right in line with what everybody else says and everything." But it's all dependent on the population, right? That
Population
is,
figures. Yeah.
yeah. So having that information from MRSC available to commissioners to see, like, who was able to do it and who has never been able to do it, and these counties that have really large populations, like King County and Pierce, and Clark County as well, um, haven't been able, we haven't been able to get
Mm.
a citizens initiative on the ballot, we haven't seen any citizens
Yeah.
initiatives on the ballot. So just making that easier, and that truly is kind of, I think, what drove you to think, oh yeah, we need less, and definitely drove me to think we need less, because you don't want to have a initiative process that's just impossible, and that you would need large organizations and lots of money to be able to gather signatures and get it done. So if somehow we could have, I know you're the one that reached out to MRSC and got that information, so maybe
Mm. I could put together a little uh, oral presentation to to do that along with the chart. Uh, for our meeting
Okay.
and explain that.
Or
Um,
maybe you could put together
so it's
an explanatory statement,
yeah, I do. I
similar.
mean, we have the draft one, and I could do a. I could you know put yeah I could take that and um, do you
Exact.
want me to share that? Do you want me to share that with
No,
the group, the explanatory statement?
no,
I can,
no. What I
uh,
think that you would,
or just I could just read it. I
what I
mean,
think the
or
best thing to do would, which is I think what I'm doing for my other committees, is doing it, it's similar to an explanatory statement, but mine is going to be a proposal statement and why we are proposing this. And so you could make a proposal statement that includes,
okay,
I'm looking at your explanatory statement that you have on the ballot measure language that we are going to be presenting, not at this meeting, but at the next meeting. Um, and that's really good. But if you could add to that little explanatory statement the information that we got from MRSC about, citizens initiatives that were successful about getting on a ballot, and because I think that that is really telling.
yeah.
For me it was, and thank you for getting that information from them.
One other thing that just popped in my head, should there be something in here requiring the Charter Review Commission to, when they meet, to review this percentage every time, whether it's every 5 years or definitely every 10 years because we had a population change. Uh,
You mean actually in the charter?
yeah, or do we, I mean, it seems to me it'd be, that's part of their responsibilities and duties is to look at these percentages to see if they need to make any adjustments on these figures. And there might be other stuff in the charter too that has that, but
That could,
I guess to point it out to them, I guess that
yeah,
they need to be checking on this all the time.
that could be something that you could do, but I don't know if that's necessarily necessary, because you're hoping that any charter review commission will go through the entire charter, like kind of like what we did, and look
Yeah,
at that.
and I think the whole point of having a home rule charter and was to have citizen participation. But and I know that the charter committee didn't, it was still new to them and they were still trying to see what the I mean the original freeholders, they were still trying to figure out what the realm or scope of this process would be, and they wanted to play it on the conservative side and make the percentage a little bit higher just because they didn't know uh, it, you could have cause dysfunction the other way if you have it so low that people are bringing petitions every month or every week, challenging every decision that's made by government.
Right,
So it they I think they were leaving it up to this time to review this figure, and that's probably why you know it's part of the reason why I wanted to bring it up is that we need to review this to um, because if we're going to have a home rule charter and you and the part of the reason why people wanted a home rule charter was the initiative referendum process, but if it makes it so hard, it makes it at a moot point, and it was sort of disingenuous to even have a home rule charter if that's the case. But we have a home rule charter; we can never get rid of it. Um, it's there for life. There's nothing in the Constitution that allows us to get rid of it. Go back to statutory. So we need to make it work.
right. I totally agree. I could totally agree with you, Doug, and I think that this is important. As far as putting in a requirement that they review this actual part of the charter, I don't think it's necessary. I think that charter review commission in, uh, in the future will look at this, and hopefully they'll see that we changed it once. So
Yeah,
it's something
yeah,
they need to look
uh,
at again.
yeah.
You
Precedents. Yeah, I
Yeah,
assume that we're setting precedents, and
yeah,
um, that's a good point. So,
yeah.
all right. Well,
As far
Uh,
as the mini initiative part of it,
mhm,
um, I think that is something too that I support too. The little that just that little change to make it where if they failed to require the number of signatures, that's something that we should present as a proposal as well.
yeah, and Whatcom County, I think is this section was copied out of the Whatcom County Charter.
Okay.
If I remember, I know that Chuck had brought that to my attention and shared with me what county had that, and I think it was Whatcom County.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway,
I
um,
I like that, and that should be so. So I think that using what you have already as an explanatory statement and then adding the things that we just talked about uh,
okay,
to that and making a proposal statement to send out to the and then you can talk about that at the meeting.
yeah,
You can talk about your proposal statement, uh,
okay. I-
what
I'll
we're proposing.
I'll send out the proposal statement and the chart, and that'll be the presentation for October then.
That sounds great. And
Okay.
thank you for adding the kind of lower figure for them to look
Um,
to.
I would like to send you a, a copy of the proposed statement, make any review it and just see if you want to make any changes to it. But I'll work on that, get it out here to you within the next day or so. I have a lot of Zoom meetings today
Me
until
too.
this evening, and then when I get a evening, sometimes I'm tired and I'm writing stuff and I need to have a second
I
set
know.
of eyes on it just to make sure that I didn't
I'll be
combine sentences or do something screwy.
I'll
So,
be happy to do that. And I do actually, for anybody listening, I just want to let you know that Doug's done an amazing amount of work and research on this, and it's I really appreciating you putting that work into it, Doug. It definitely opened my eyes about the like as we said, this is something that has to be constantly looked at and how to
mm,
improve citizen participation in our home rule, and so I really appreciate that.
because there's a formula in our charter and it's based on population and population changes.
I know.
And so we have to revisit that percentage every time uh, we have a review of the charter.
Right, exactly. And hopefully it's, at least my personal opinion, hopefully that's every 5 years.
Uh, yes,
Yeah,
I am concerned about that piece. I've just know that there's things that we have not been able to address in the charter that hopefully next time people will be able to do it. I mean, you could only put so much out uh, for the public to absorb and to change
yeah,
and agree upon. And so, but every 10 years can really cause issues because the legislature is meeting every year and
right.
changing the laws and the requirements of what counties need to do. So our charter needs to be constantly catching up
I know,
to be flexible enough to provide the services that the state requires us to do.
right.
So
Okay,
anyway,
great, and I think this is, yeah,
or not requires us, but requires the other elected officials to do.
right. Okay, well, I think this is great, I look forward to looking at the proposal statement
Okay.
reach out to me. I've got the next couple days. I'm doing a lot of work on my other, um,
So do you want to meet again in right after in October? I could send out another request in maybe this second week of October to finalize this all up.
that sounds good.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. I will we'll work on a time and date that will work at 10:30s in the morning is fine with you?
yeah, it is.
Okay. Uh and yeah, it
Okay,
really doesn't matter when we're being recorded. Yeah, we don't have to go live, so it could be. But that's me being retired. I tend to like to sleep in a little bit.
Okay.
So
Okay,
okay. Well,
great.
thank you, and I will be setting up a meeting, and I'll send you also the proposal statement in a few days.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
so
going to turn
great.
off the recording.